The Department of Computer Science and Engineering of JIS College of Engineering is led by Professor Dharampal Singh. The department has traditional and smart classrooms to ensure that the students get complete and updated facilities. The faculty are dynamic and have a strong tradition of mentoring and guiding students towards achieving goals and fulfilling them, keeping the social responsibility as its central core. The department encourages students to explore new technologies by conducting workshops, national or international webinar, guest lectures, certified trainings, and other technological events like project, paper presentations, and also provides various opportunities to the students to engage in technical and non-technical activities beyond the classroom, like student clubs, sports activities, in-house coding competitions, cultural competitions, CSI activities, and more.
Hey everyone, my name is Shankhu Chatterjee. I was a student of JS College of Engineering. I graduated back in 2005 in Computer Science Department. I came back today to give guest lecture on data analytics. Well, after coming to this college, I have seen a great change. It feels great to be back over here. The college that we saw when we were studying over here was totally different, and now the way it has evolved over years, right? It's been amazing. It feels great to be back and to give this lecture, to get that opportunity to give this lecture in front of the students. It's a great opportunity, and thanks a lot to everyone for giving me this opportunity.
Hi, ball. Okay. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I, Dr. Bikramjit Sarkar, Professor of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, GIS College of Engineering, welcome you all to this one-day national level workshop on the career opportunities on AngularJS and Node.js. This workshop is being conducted in association with Tech3 Technologies and Mr. Onup Kumar Paswan, a web and Android developer, as well as a corporate trainer from the Tech3 Technologies, will deliver his speech on the domain. I hope we all will definitely learn something new from today's session that will help in the area of web application development. And during this entire session, one feedback link will be shared that you need to fill up within the end of this particular session so that we can send you the e-certificates in due course of time. So, Mr. Parshwan,
Yes, sir.
let us now start the session with no further delay.
Okay. Thank
So,
you,
the
sir.
platform is all yours, sir.
May I share the screen, sir?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. My screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Very good evening to all of you. Today we are going to take a webinar on Angular and Node.js. Okay. So first we have to know what is the use of Angular or what is Node.js in our industry or how it is very opportunity in our career. So first we have to know in which field we have to use the Angular or Node and what is the use of Angular. Okay. So everyone know very well, to develop a web application, we have to use lots of programming languages or there are lots of fields. So first we have to very clearly understand a roadmap of use of Angular, how to create a web application through Angular or what is the use of Angular. Okay. So first, we have to deliver the web application or how many types of web application. Okay. Firstly, we have to state that what is a web? What is a web? Or when we are going to create a website, then what is the website and how to create a website? And what is the benefit of a website? And why we need to create a website? Okay. So all of you already know and what is a website. আমরা এখন ওয়েব মিটিং যেটা করছি ওটা বি থ্রু ইউটিউব or গুগল মিট so all of you know these are the websites. So we are going to create or how to create a website through any programming languages we have to understand. Okay, so one by one I will understand what is web and what is website and which programming languages, either client side or programming server side, which we have to use. तो सबसे फर्स्ट है আমি জানতে চাই কি व्हाट इज वेब। ওয়েব পেজ জিনিসটা কি? ওকে, তো যে কোনো রিপ্রেজেন্টেশন when we want to represent anything in our
Excuse me,
browser.
sir.
Yes, sir.
May I please interrupt?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir, there are participants from different corners of India.
Okay, okay,
Can you please continue in English?
okay, okay, sir. Okay,
Okay, sir. Fine.
okay. So we have to create a web application. So first we have to know what is the web page. Okay, so when we represent any information, in our browser to display something in multiple places or multiple things, then we have to use a web page. Okay, when we need to represent any information like text, images, audio, video, text, images, audio, video, etc. via any browser then we have to create a web page. Okay, and collection of web pages is known as a website. When we create a collection of web pages, when we create a collection of web pages, then this is known as web sites. Same as just like a single page. When combined multiple pages, then this is called a copy or khata. Same as here, where a single page we have to create for displaying or represent any information, then we have to create a web page. But when we create a website, then we have to combine multiple pages, multiple web pages in a single form, in a single purpose. Okay. So first we have to know types of web pages. How many types of web pages? How many types of web pages? So there are two types of web pages which we are going to create. There are two types of web pages. The first one is known as a static web page. Static web page, and the another one is known as dynamic web page. Dynamic web page. So any application, when we are going to create any websites, then there are two types of web pages. The first one is a static web page, and the second one is dynamic web page. A static web page in the sense the page which we can not any modify after running or after running in the browser. The page which is fixed, no changeable. But dynamic web page which is changeable. Dynamic web page which is changeable, which is changeable. So to create a static web page, we need only two things. The first one is HTML as well plus CSS. HTML is used to create the structure of a web page. Same as when we are going to create a home. So basic needs, sand, bricks, rod, the structure is created. And to create an attractive look, then we have to use CSS. So in the web application, to create a structure of a web page, okay, to create a structure of a web page, to create a structure of a web page, we have to use HTML. And to provide design or a styles, design or styles to look attractive, we have to use CSS, cascading a style set. Cascading a style set. But this is not fully user friendly because in this section, the page is a static. We cannot communicate with the page. So we have to create a dynamic web page to user friendly or interactive. So to create a dynamic web page, we need a language. Okay. Need a language. either from the client side or server side. There are two sections. The first one is either client side or either server side. There is a one example for this. Suppose I am going to market, okay, and I have to purchase something from the market. So in my pocket, the purse is available or not. This is checking is better at home or at market, because we checked at both the time, as well as in the home as well as in the market. But where is the better to check in the home? Okay, we cannot check in the market. We can check it in the market, but we have to get more time to come back to home and again go to the market, then use that, purchase that thing. So in this time, we have to better to check my purse is available in our pocket or not at home. So this type of things we have to use at client side. For real example, when you submit any application or any form, say suppose login form or sign up form, okay. So without checking any information, if that submitted anything or not, how to check that is correct or not correct? So we have to fill it. We have to enter some information, either wrong or right, but we have to fill it. So this type of thing done by our client side. For example, in any website, not only in any website where you are submitting any form, like say suppose here we have to enter email address or password. Then I went to go to login, but without any entering data. When I am going to login, that means without any information, they go to the server and check. What check? There is no data. So our same return. After returning, we have to get the input. Okay. So firstly, there is a problem of traffic. So first, we have to check the user given any data or not. If the data is given, either right or wrong, that the matter of data. But is user given any data? If user is given any data, then go to the login button is enabled and the data is sending to the server. But before any data is not getting or the field is empty, then the thing is done by our client side. So here there are two things I am written here. To create a dynamic web page, either we are from the client side or as well as server side. So when the data is reflected from the server, then we have to use the server side programming language for creating a dynamic web page. But where there are no servers are used, then we only use the JavaScript to create a dynamic web page. But there are no communication with our servers. But here we are creating a dynamic web page. Dynamic web page means we are interacting. When we are going to create a login button, when we are going to submit on login, then it fires something. Okay. So the difference between a static and dynamic, a static is a fixed, which is not changeable. But in dynamic web page, we can change it. For example, in a web application, there are a slider, image slider, slide one by one. So you can do it by your client side as well as your server side. When we use client side, that means the images are static, but it will be changeable. So it is a dynamic. But when you are going to change that image from the server, then we have to use any server side programming language. So to create a dynamic web application or to create a dynamic web page, we can use as well as client side programming language as well as server side programming language. Okay. So to create a client side programming language, okay, we have to use JavaScript. JavaScript is a client-side scripting language which is used to create a dynamic web page at client side. Okay. So first, very clearly understand what is the mean of client side or server side. Okay. Or what is the benefit of JavaScript, or how we have to use, when we have to use. There are lots of programming languages day by day coming, yeah? But what is the main role of JavaScript? What is the main role of Java? What is the main role of PHP, Angular? We have to understand that thing. We have to learn lots of programming language, but we didn't know when programming language, when to use. Then there are no uses of, no benefit. Okay. So we have to very clearly understand that which language is used and when we have to use. In when section, which section we have to use that application. Okay. So any dynamic application, any dynamic web application, when you are going to request, when you are going to request to the server, before going to the server, before sending any data to the server, the work done by the JavaScript, or you can say any distraction or validation done by the JavaScript, or you can say the client side scripting language. Sorry. JavaScript is a client side scripting language. Okay. To create a dynamic web application at client side. Okay. At client side. So JavaScript is used to create a dynamic web application at client side. Okay. What is the mean of client side? Means limited of the browser. Means the application limitation is enter the browser. Okay. So without any browser, we cannot run any JavaScript application. Okay. To create any dynamic web application, we have to use a browser. In any browser, you can use it. And that browser, we have to use our JavaScript language, JavaScript applications to create something. But to create a dynamic web page at server side, then we have to use some other server side programming languages. So in JavaScript, we are going to create a dynamic web page at a client side. But what is the limitation? Limitation of the browsers. When outside the browser, we cannot run our JavaScript applications. So day by day, there are lots of uses at our JavaScript programming languages. We have to validate our form. There are lots of things at client side we have to done by the JavaScript. So the benefit of JavaScript day by day is very increasing, but the limitation is that our browser, outside the browser, we cannot create JavaScript application. Suppose we have to send any information at server side or any information get from the server in our JavaScript, then we have to use JavaScript. Okay. So to overcome that problem, limitation of the entire browser, we cannot run outside the browser. We have to create, there are an engine, Google develop an engine. Okay. V8 engine, V8 JavaScript engine. Okay. Google develop an JavaScript engine which is V8. Okay. By this engine, we can run our JavaScript application outside the browser. Okay, which is via the use of Node.js. Okay, Node.js. So what is the Node.js and what is the Angular? So these are the framework. These are the framework of JavaScript. Okay. What is the mean of framework or what is the framework? Okay. So in simple words, we can say few years earlier, okay, suppose we have to use a shirt, then I have to go market and choose a cloth of piece, then go to the tailor. After giving some measurement of our shirt, we have to wait 5 to 6 days. After 5 to 6 days, we have to complete a shirt. Then we have to use it. So to use a shirt, we have to give him the time of 5 to 10 days. It means 90% effort by the user or programmer in that time. Okay, 90% effort by the user, or you can say programmer. 90% effort. But nowadays, suppose we have to go to the party tomorrow, but I have no shirt or pant, any new shirt or pant. Then I am going to the mall, just trial it and purchase it. So 90% already done. 90% already predefined. We have to just measurement, trial and purchase it. So same as here in any programming languages or scripting language, there are lots of programming, lots of framework are day by day introducing. Okay. So simple words you can say what is framework. So framework means ready-made functions, predefined programs. Okay. Ready-made functions or programs. Already you are from IT background, use C programming or C++ or any programming languages. Already use like a header file. What is a header file? The collection of programs, collection of functions which we have to use. Okay. So what is the benefit of framework? So time. So here we are going to reduce our development time. Okay. And in that situation, we have to give the 10 days, 8 to 10 days. But in this situation, we have to 1 day. Going to the mall, select your dress, try and purchase. Same as here, when we are going to create a web page without any framework, we have to do some, we have to take some, suppose 5 to 10 days, 5 days, 6 days. At that same thing, using framework, we are doing with 1 day. Why? Because there are lots of programs, there are lots of functions are ready-made created for us, or these all are free of source. Okay, so day by day in any programming languages are developing a framework to reduce our development time. So here JavaScript introduced, there are lots of frameworks and we are going to introduce Angular and Node.js. So both are the framework of JavaScript. Okay. Angular and Node, both are the framework of JavaScript. Okay. So what is the mean of framework? Already understand very well. Huh? Simple. The one thing is that to development of speed, which are given without our framework or after framework, there are lots of things here we are already given. Okay. In our normal JavaScript programming languages, we have to write lots of codes, but when we are going to use Angular framework to create a dynamic web application, okay, there are lots of codes reduces. There are lots of code reduces because the common things are which is done by our JavaScript, which are written in our Angular. Okay, so what is Angular? So Angular is a JavaScript framework which is used to develop a dynamic web page. So if you are going to create a dynamic web page, then we have to use a Angular. Now, to create any web application, there is an architecture. Okay, so first thing, the architecture of a web application, then one by one, what is where the use of Angular and where the use of Node. Okay, any web application follows some architecture. Okay, any web application follow architecture, follow architecture, which is known as MVC architecture. MVC architecture. In simple words, you can say three-tier architecture. To develop any web application, we have to use three-tier applications. Okay, this is also known as three-tier application. Three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture. Okay. The first one is known as designing part, designing layer, and the second one is known as coding layer, coding, and the another one is known as a storage layer. Okay, a storage layer. In programming term, you can say designing is our MVC, in the sense of MVC. Okay, MVC, where M4 model, model means a storage. V4 view, which is our designing part. Designing. C4 controller, which is our coding part. Okay. So any web application follow this three-tier architecture to develop an application. Okay. So where we have to use Angular and why we have to use Angular, one by one in your web development application. Okay. Okay, the first one is known as our front end, which is interaction from user interaction. Okay, this is our front end. This is our front end where user interact with your application. These are our backends where user didn't interact with application. These are backends. Okay. So to develop a front end for a web application, we have to use basic of HTML, CSS, and Java script. Okay, and the framework we have to use framework Angular. Okay, and also so Angular is used to develop your front end for a web application. Angular is used to develop your front end for your web application. Okay, and Node.js is a package or which is used for an engine, or you can say when we want to execute our JavaScript application outside any browser, or we can use at server side. We can use or create a JavaScript application at server side. Then we have to use Node.js. Okay, except any other server side programming language like PHP, Java, Python, .NET, we can develop a complete web application with our front end Angular and back end Node.js. Okay, so we can run our JavaScript application at server side by the use of Node.js. But if we haven't any application like Node.js, but we did not use Node.js, then we have to use any other server side programming language like PHP, Python, Java, .NET, any one of them. But if we are using a Node.js, then we have to use nothing of that server-side programming language. We can directly communicate with our server with Node. And Angular is used with our front-end development. Means we are going to create a HTML, CSS, JavaScript codes, and the maximum codes which is JavaScript written is in our Angular framework. So to develop your front end for web development is going to easier than previously. Except Angular, we have to take more time. We have to write more codes. It may be 10 lines of code. In Angular, we have to write only 2 lines of codes. Okay, and backend side we can use JavaScript, Angular. Okay, so Angular is a front end framework for developing a web application, and here Node.js is used to run your Angular application outside the browser or at server side. That's it. Okay, so if you are going to use your Angular, okay, what is the benefit of Angular? The first thing, users of Angular, the main thing is data binding. In normal JavaScript programming language, when we are going to request any information to the backend side or JavaScript, then the data we have to get, then process, then return. Okay, but when we are going to use Angular, then data is binding instantly. If you are going to use JavaScript only, then we have to process front end, then go to the JavaScript, then process, then we have to back from the front end. But when we are going to use Angular, then the data, the information which we have to enter, okay, already combined with your value, combined with your variables. So data binding is very important in our Angular to reduce response time of our website. Okay. Number 2, dependency injection. Dependency injection. Okay. What is the dependency or dependency injection? So normally any application is dependent to someone or other. Okay, and here the dependency injection means there is no dependency with other programming language to other languages. Here Angular directly inherits your HTML with extra directives. With extra directives in the sense, when you are going to create any JavaScript language or application, any program, then we have to find with their tags, there with ID or something class name, something extra, something another values. But here the all tags are inherited by the Angular with some extra directives. That directives are very useful to communicate with your Angular application. Okay. So to develop a front-end web application at front side, then we have to use Angular framework, which our response time or any single page application is useful. Okay. Nowadays, maximum number of applications are developing our Angular applications, because for a single web application, the loading time. Suppose in our YouTube application, the first time we have to load it. Think here, the first time when we are going to open, the first time it is loaded. But after that, if we changes anything here, okay, there are no loaded. Okay, so this features is available in our Angular. The response time is very less because we are divided into sub programs, okay, which is known as components. Suppose here the header section is one part, left menu is a one part, here is a one part, okay. So we have to target it which part we have to change, which part we have to reflect instead of our full web page reload. Suppose our whole page reloaded, then we have to get the lots of time. But in this time, from this way, we have to open only that thing, only that particular area. Okay. So this is done by our Angular application. So if you are going to create a single page application, so Angular is very important to reduce your response time, because we can directly reflect it with that instead of our whole page reflection. Okay. And node is interact with your server. When Angular reflected any data from the server, then Angular send it to the Node.js, and Node.js communicate with the server and receive the data and then go back to the Angular. Okay, so to create a single web page, dynamic web page, we have to use Angular as a framework for a front end, and back end for a server-side communication, we need to use Node.js. To create a Node.js or web application, Angular application, we have to install Node.js in your system. Okay, Node.js just like an engine. In other programming language, suppose in C programming language, we have to download a compiler. When you're going to create a Java application, you have to download Java JDK. Same as here, when you are going to create a Node application, Angular application, then you have to install in your system Angular application. Okay, the Angular software install your system, then you are going to create your Angular application. Through the command line, you can create Angular, which is already given a structure, full structure, which is we have to create it in other without any framework. When you are not using any framework, then to create a structure for a web development, MVC structure. But when you are going to use any framework, then the framework already given to you as data structure. So we have to only work with our programs. We have to work with our own focus. And we don't think about our structures, because all the structures are provided by our framework. Okay. So what is the main benefit of Node? Because we can run our JavaScript program outside any browser. Say suppose we are going to give some demo. In our system, there is a Node application already installed, and when you are going to install a Node, the download Node. This is the official website from where you are going to install Node application. Okay, Node application and any editor like VS maximum programming languages used in our VS programming language, VS Code. Okay. So open VS Code. Simple a JavaScript program, you can say. Suppose there was a folder. Creating a folder in F drive, like GIS. Open it. Simple one JavaScript program. demo.js JavaScript program. Okay. Any program. Suppose Zoom. Okay. Welcome in welcome to the okay. So this is a JavaScript program which we are going to use with Node application. We have going to run with Node application. Okay. So where we have to save it, go to the directory and direct open with the cmd command. Okay. Go to the directory like GIS. Open command prompt, and here we have to write node and the file name. File, what is the name of file? Demo.js. Here is the demo. Okay. Demo.js. Control dot. Node demo.js. Here. Welcome to the webinar on Angular and Node.js. So without Node, we cannot run our JavaScript application outside the browser. But here we are executing our JavaScript application outside the browser. Okay. So by the use of Node, you can create a server-side application or communicate your application with server. Angular, you are going to use with your front-end development to grow your application, the dynamic application. And here, Node is used with your communication with server. Okay. So if you are going to create an Angular application, what to do? First, we have to install your Node application, your application. Okay. Then suppose create a folder, suppose JIS underscore Angular. Okay, create a folder. Then shift and right button, go to the PowerShell. Okay. Here, npm Angular CLI command line interface. Okay. Okay. npm install -g Angular CLI command line interface. Just a minute, we have to create. So by the use of command line interface, all the structure provided by the framework, we have to just focus on our application. What you have to do. From the official website, there are all the things. To install the CL using the npm package manager and the npm node package manager, from where all the packages installed from your folder, then we have to use it. Okay. So just a minute, all the installed. Then to create a new application, ng new and then app name. Okay. Suppose ng new app name JIS underscore demo. Okay, would you like to add Angular routing? What is the routing? From one link to another link, we have to use routing. Okay, so use it later. No issues. No. We have going to use CSS. Yes, already selected. Okay. All the packages provided by the Angular are installing. In this, all the classes are given there. When we have to use the Angular JavaScript, where there are no data type restriction. Okay, there are no data type restriction. When we have to use any data with a var or let or const. In other programming language like C or Java, we have to restricted our data type like in an int variable we have to store only int value. But in JavaScript there are no data restriction. So this is the problem. But in Angular we have to use the extended version of JavaScript TypeScript. So in the TypeScript, there are lots of restrictions like data type restrictions. We have to restrict our data. Suppose we are creating a string variable, then we have to store only a string value. So to use our Angular, we have to use TypeScript language. TypeScript, any JavaScript language, any JavaScript program is a TypeScript program because the TypeScript program converted into JavaScript, then it will be executed. Okay. So to use Angular, we have to basic knowledge of TypeScript and basic concept of object-oriented programming language like what is class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation, basic ideas of class and object and inheritance. Okay. So all the packages are installing. After installed all the packages, we have to inside our folder, our Angular folder, then we have to start that application. This is our Angular application where by the use of framework, all the structures, all the classes which we have to create our web application very easily are given by that. Just few time more. Then we have to open that folder in our VS application. So all the file angular.json, package.json, tsconfig, all the structures given by our Angular. Is completed. File open folder GIS underscore not completed. Here GIS underscore demo. Look at that node modules. In this, all the modules, simply you can say all the classes, all the functions, all the programs which are provided by the Angular are downloaded in your folder, in your app folder within node underscore modules. Within the SRC, we have to create our applications. Okay, in our app, the all things, the CSS are separate, the HTML are separate, the TS, which is TypeScript, where we have to code, are separate. Okay. And this is for testing, TS. Okay. So we have to focus on HTML, which is front end, CSS, which is our designing part, and TS where we have to use for coding part. Okay, just for a moment, it's completed. Install packages. It's taking some time at first time because there are lots of packages downloaded from the server and put it into your folder. After completed, you just use that packages. Already lots of packages. Yes, completed. Then inside your folder, what is the name of folder? JIS underscore demo. JIS underscore demo. Okay. Then MG, in the sense Angular ACRV means run your application. Okay. On browser. Run your application on browser, getting the all the configuration of file. Exactly. This is provided by the local server. Just copy, paste into your browser. Okay. This means in your app, Angular installed successfully. Okay, this is the first page of Angular application. This is your local server where your web is running, your dynamic web application is running. Okay, so open this in our folder. Understand in here, this is our app where this is our CSS file, this is our HTML, and this is our typescript. Okay. This is that the thing which we are displaying in this area. Okay, suppose we are deleting all the things and just we are writing here within h1 welcome to the webinar of Angular and Node.js. Control S, just Control S. Welcome to the webinar of Angular. So we have to use your Angular syntax or Angular code. This is our HTML codes. We have to use our Angular with HTML tags with new directives. Okay. This is our section where you have to write your JavaScript code with TypeScript. Okay. Suppose here title is this. Suppose we are going to create a variable name. Okay. Name equal to hello Kumar password. Okay. And that variable we are going to use in our front end. Okay. So how to use it? just with double bracket, which we have to understand in our Angular classes. Okay. Just we have to write that variable name. That variable binded with that HTML pages. Okay. Yeah. On it, not pass. Okay. So to use any our CSS part, this is our CSS section, this is our HTML section, or this is our TS TypeScript, where we have to write our JavaScript codes. This is our TypeScript section. So all the structure provided by our Angular structures, Angular framework. We have to just do what you done. So you have to do your application in your HTML, communicate with your TS, and if you going to any styles, then CSS. Here all the things are related here. Okay, so they are very easy way to create a Angular application. Okay, and the time is very reducing to develop any web application. There are lots of applications running in our market, which is done by our Angular applications. Okay, like Angular application list. Here, Microsoft Office, Dental Bank, Mixer, Gmail, Cobalt, Upwork, PayPal. There are lots of applications running in our market, which is done in Angular framework. Okay. So Angular and Node both are very important for as well as our career opportunity. If any doubts to anyone, then please, sir, tell me.
Yes, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, bro. You're audible.
Yes. Yes. So, respected and dear participant, if you have any type of question, then you can put it in your YouTube live link. Live chat section is there. You can just ask your question, and we will deliver the question to our expert, and our expert will try to answer your question. Please, if you have any question, then you can directly write in your chat section. I think we have to wait for 1 to 2 minutes.
Any question there?
No, sir. Till now, no question is there.
So I hope will be no questions asked. There will be no
Yes.
queries at all. I think sir has cleared all the doubts already. So, sir.
Yes, sir.
So have you all completed the session?
Yes, sir. I have to complete the session, but is Palmium there?
Before that, Pavitra, please share the feedback link. And
Yes,
those
sir. Yes,
who
sir.
will be filling up this feedback link within 15 to 20 minutes, they will get e-certificates in due course of time.
Yeah, I think there is one question, sir.
Okay, please.
Is there any OT file to write my PHP function? Obinandan Ghosh is asking, is there any OT file to write my PHP function? Hello.
What is the industry perspective about Mondev versus Flutter? That is one complete question we found so far. And Mr. Abhinandan Ghosh, if you please clarify your query once again, it will be helpful for us to decode it. Okay, Abhinandan has asked, is there any particular file to write my PHP functions? Sir, the first question.
So if you are going to use Node.js, then no need to use PHP function. Or if you are going to use PHP, then direct use Node. With Node, you can use PHP, no issues. But we have to create an API. From Node Angular, you have to use PHP as a web service. Then you have to use it, no issues. But as a server side, then you can use any one of them, either Node or either PHP, anyone.
Okay, sir. Our second question from Shoaib Akhtar Ghazi. What is the industry perspective about Mondev versus Flutter?
Sorry, sir, Mun versus
Flutter.
Flutter. Actually, Flutter is a framework of Android to develop a front end. But our Mun is a for web development. So you are going to choose your web development, then Mun is better. And for Android application, then Flutter is better.
So there is another question, sir, from Sanjeev, Mr. Sanjeev. Can we develop mobile applications using Angular?
No, this is only used for our front end as a web development. You have to use React instead of Angular for a Android application front end.
Any more questions, please? Participants, please. So I hope there is no more questions. So Pavitra, can you please share the feedback link?
Yes, sir, I'm just sharing.
Yeah.
रोकिए मैम, आप कुछ बोलेंगे?
So the feedback link is already shared in the YouTube live. So participants, please fill up this form. And please input the correct email ID, correct affiliation, correct name, so that we can generate the e-certificates for you and send it in due course of time. So, okay, sir. I hope we have come to the end of this session.
Okay, sir.
So thank you so much for your um, learned lecture on this particular domain. And I hope all the participants uh, have got benefited out of this session, and the knowledge they gain from this session will definitely be applied in their future endeavor. So thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
So participants, please fill up the feedback link in time. So coming to the end of the session, thank you everybody. Very good night to everyone.